Hi everyone, thanks for joining. Just to let you know, we've had a couple of messages about people struggling to join, so we're just going to wait 1 or 2 minutes for them to get on, and then we'll be starting. So if you wanted to grab a glass of water, I'm sure you've got time for that. Probably not enough time to boil a kettle though in the next couple of minutes. I'll be looking after the question box today, so if there's any questions you want to put in there, then you can do. And there's also a chat box as well, but we'll be starting very shortly. Okay, so we're going to start today's webinar. Hello everyone, my name is Michael Fox. I'll be looking after the questions that come through today. So there's a question box on your screen. There's also a chat box if you're facing any technical issues, you can pop them in there. My colleague Nick is going to be taking us through the document management piece. So he's much more knowledgeable than me. Nick, if you want to give a bit of background on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mike. So my background is actually working in practice. I'm AAT qualified. I'm not saying I'm the best accountant in the world, but hence why I'm no longer doing it. But I know what it's like to be in your shoes and actually use the software that I'm about to demonstrate for you. I did use it for all those years in practice that I had done before working at Walters Close. So the background of what I'm showing you today is really around the basics of what a document management system is and how our system can hopefully improve your record keeping for your clients, actually communicating with them as well, potentially through a secure portal system. Okay, so what we're going to look through today is an overview of the actual document management system and show you how to navigate around it. Some hints and tips to actually get you started. So seeing how we might want to use what's known as a tagging system rather than a folder structure. I'll go into a bit of detail on that later on. And then actually how you would go about implementing it into your practice if it's something which you're keen to do, particularly with the situation that's going on at the minute, having better access to all the documents and correspondence for your staff to help service your client a bit better when out and about. Okay, so just going to open up my central system. Hopefully you should recognize the big chunky buttons at the top of the screen I've got there. And just that image in the middle of the screen is just to highlight some of the modules that are included in CCH Central. And the key one, obviously, we're going to look at today is the document management one. Now, I've got a client open called Bats and Belfries, and you probably are all very aware of the various tabs that are open, such as I've got my home one here, I've got an accounts production tab, I've got my tax returns tab because of limited corporation tax. But the one which we're going to look at primarily today is the document center tab. Now, in here would be every single document that's relating to Bats and Belfries. And as I mentioned right at the start, the way in which we file documents into here is via a tagging structure. Very different to what you're probably used to at the minute. If you use a Microsoft folder structure, where you probably have a list of all clients on your network, and then open up that client folder. You then have your various years, open up that folder. You then have got tax accounts, this, that, and the other, and you store all the documents in there. And you've got to navigate through that folder structure to find your exact document. How CCH document management works is you apply tags to specific documents, whether it be correspondence, whether it be accounts work, and then you're able to search for those documents on the right-hand side here to filter based on the tags that are applied to them. So on the right-hand side, I've got an example such as document type. If I'm looking for correspondence, I choose correspondence and hit search, and it would then show it me on the left-hand side. If I'm only looking at correspondence relating to accounts, I choose my accountancy, and these are coming through from our practice management system in terms of the assignments that are related to clients. So if I choose accountancy and hit search, it's now only going to show me my accountancy correspondence rather than personal tax correspondence. So it's about using the filters to your gain. And part of the implementation of the software is that we design these tags based on your needs as a firm. It's the most customizable product that we have, probably alongside practice management in terms of how you want to do your billing process. But the way in which we allow you to store documents is completely customizable for your particular practice. We are aware that the way in which you might store documents is different than the practice next door. So we completely tailor it as part of implementation to your specific needs. Okay. One of the key parts of a document management system is the ability to only allow one person to edit a specific document at any one time. So you might see at the minute, if you've not got a purpose-built document management system, if you try and open a document which someone is already working on, it tells you that Microsoft security will not let you open it, and you have to notify, and then it never really notifies you. So you just have to wait for the person to get out. Now, how our system works is if I wanted to edit this specific document that I've got here, I would have to tick the box on the left-hand side and click edit. And what that does is it opens up that particular document for me to be able to edit it. But if I drop back into Central here, what we get is a little symbol here on the left. Now, when I was working in practice, I had no idea what this was. I thought it was a little duck or a bird or something like that. But it's actually a key with a tick to show that it's been locked. Now, if I hover over it, it shows today's date. Now, if anyone else in the practice had hovered over that logo, it would show today's date and my name to show that I got it checked out, because I'm the only person who can edit that at that point in time. I can then open up the document, I can make changes to it if I wanted to, and then I would be able to close that document. Now, if I close it, I'll get a few different options, and we can have it as check-in. Now, it sounds a bit like a hotel, checking out and checking in documents, but when I check it back in, it means that now that logo is gone, and then someone else in the business will be able to edit that document. There's a full audit trail in the background, the properties panel. Probably don't need to bother showing you that today, but it has a full history of every single time someone edits that particular document. It notes it to the second who edited it and when. So you've got a full history of what happened to that document. Okay. Now, in terms of accessing these documents, the only way of getting to them is through the front end of the software. You can't get around the back in terms of navigating around the back of the folder structure to find it. So in terms of full security, you have to log in through the system to be able to find these particular documents. Okay. We have a full security on each particular document as well. So certain levels of member of staff might be able to do certain things with documents, such as delete them or remove them out of the system. Whereas potentially new users of the system who might have just joined the firm, particularly at the lower end, and you might not want them to have the permission to destroy documents out, we can turn off that particular function for them. And that's for either the whole document management system or just specific types of document. You can also restrict visibility of documents. And many firms decide to use a document management system to also store payroll information on their clients, but don't want to give the majority of the firm access to those documents. So the payroll department is allowed to store them in the system, as with any other document. However, certain members of staff wouldn't even know that they exist in there. You can hide the full a specific document type from view if need be. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got Word documents, I've got PDF, but then I'd say the key one in here is email filing. So from previous experience of implementing this software to firms who've never had a document management system, the key thing that they explained to me why they decided to go down a document management system route is the visibility of email correspondence between their staff and their clients. Okay. So what this system allows you to do is to have your Outlook system open. Now, I'm using Outlook 2010, but it does run all the way through to Outlook 365, Office 365, sorry. So, the function I'm going to show you here, if you're using Office 365, is exactly the same. What we have in the bottom left-hand corner is a little email filing plugin that would be on each of your staff members' machines, where what happens if an email comes in, for example, this one from Eve Pierce, it checks her email address, eve.jp.pierce@gmail.com, across the entire central database and tries to list down here any clients or contacts that she is associated against in the central system. So you can see I've got Eve Pierce, Tilestone Limited, and WKFRS 102 Limited. So there's her personal record, but also probably 2 companies of which she's a director for. She could be corresponding about either of those. Now, in terms of filing it, so if I wanted to file a specific email, I would just drag and drop the email over the relevant client or contact record that I wanted to file it, and it would file it as correspondence. Any further correspondence in that particular email thread will be filed against that client as well. So only the first email in the thread that you need to worry about. It also puts a tick in the box here on the right-hand side of the view panel there to show that it has been filed. It also works that if 3 people get sent the same email from Eve in this circumstance, if one person files it, it tells the other 2 that it has been filed, and it tells them in the bottom right corner where it's been filed as well. So it just gives people better visibility once it's been filed, that it's able to be viewed within the central system, the same as every other piece of documentation, whether it's engagement letters, accounts, tax returns, and all correspondence are in the same place. Now, what you're actually able to do is, if I open up this email here, is it gives you the ability to see the Outlook email from within Central. You don't have to have Outlook open or go and find it. You can view it within the Central Document Management System. You can also hit reply or forward from within here. So rather than having to find it in Outlook, as I mentioned just then, you can perform all email tasks from within the Central Document Management System. There are a few additional benefits of having a document management system where we have an internal HR function. That's probably one of the lesser known areas of the document management system, where we're going to be running some internal webinars for our existing users of how to get the most out of that particular area of the system. There's also an integrated product called OneClick, which is our secure documents messaging portal. And if you're not using that at the minute for your accounts production, where it has two-way bookkeeping sync of cloud bookkeeping information, full transaction listing into accounts production, what it allows you to do is to send documents such as this engagement letter to the client electronically through a secure portal with a dedicated portal approval tagging on it as well. So if I click on this here, you can see that John Bain approved this document on the 12th of March 2020 at 9 minutes past 3. You've got full history of when he approved that. So if you get any QA visits, you've got full history of that there. What you also get is at the bottom of each document that you've sent to the client through the portal, you can have a nice page that appears on the bottom of every single document. My panel here. So I can get access to it. Scroll down, and you should at the bottom of each document get a nice little panel telling you when the document has been viewed. See, I think I might have turned it off that specific document, but you will be able to see when the client has viewed or rejected or hopefully approved documents, and it's date stamped to the second to show that when each thing has been done to that particular document. Now, what I'm showing you here is the client document center. In terms of, I found my client, Batson Belfries, and I've got my document center tab. What we also have is a practice document center. So if I click documents at the top, I will be able to search the entire document center across all the different tags that we've got applied to documents. Now, if I search for portal approval as pending, what this is great for is towards, say, the end of January, where you've sent tax returns out to the client for approval through our portal system. It will show you all the ones which have been sent to the client but haven't been approved yet. Now, you can see I use John Bain a lot for previous demonstration purposes. But what you'll see is all these documents that are listed here are the ones that have been sent out to him and he hasn't approved yet. So you'll be able to run this towards the end of January, and it will give you a list of all the clients who you've sent tax returns for, but they haven't approved yet. And I imagine that's quite a difficult time of the year to know where all you're up to. Now, we do have a workflow product that give you a good track of that as well. You're able to keep note of all of it, but the document management system gives you, key information with connected to our secure portal system. I would suggest if you're not using a portal system, even if you're not using OneClick, it's something you should be looking at using, particularly around GDPR that came in last year. It's a great way of being able to collaborate electronically and securely with your clients. So once you can view and access and navigate around the document management system, one of the questions we get is around adding documents into the system, like manually. So if I click on upload at the top here, what it does is it gives you a box in the middle of the screen, and you would be very accustomed to seeing this screen when you start using the document management system, as it's shown in lots of different areas. You would click add, and you would browse to a specific document you want to add in. So if I choose this PDF document, the file name is coming through. It's coming through in there. Now the contact, it's going to guess it's Batson Belfries because I'm uploading it from within Batson Belfries. I can add it to multiple clients if I wanted to at the same time. Really key part of the system which differentiates us from lots of other document management systems is the ability to tag multiple clients on the same document, which means that one document appears in lots of different clients' document management systems. You edit it in one place, it changes it in many different other places as well. Okay. Now, assignments. This is where it would list the assignments that are available to be filed for this particular client. Because this is a limited company, I don't have personal tax available. So it does try and filter the available options based on what you've chosen for that particular client. So here, type. I've got about 10 different options to choose for document type. However, if I choose accountancy as the assignment, we find that the only available document types are accounts and correspondence. This is part of the implementation of the software, is deciding how do you want your staff to be filing the relevant documents that are relating to that particular client. And it's a huge part of setting it up, is getting that set up particularly for your firm. Because each firm will want to use it differently. Some firms want to have a miscellaneous file in there as a document type. I personally wouldn't recommend that, because it ends up being a bit of a dumping ground for documents, which is why you're probably looking at a document management system at the minute. Potentially, if you do have an other folder in your current setup, and it starts getting a bit messy. Whereas in here, if you have a consistent filing structure and your staff are able to follow that, because we would try and make it as simple as possible at the implementation stage, it should be dead easy when you file any set of accounts or a piece of permanent information where your staff need to file it. It should be plain and simple, and we kind of make them follow a route to get to that end point. Okay, so once you've chosen accounts, you can click OK, and we would see that it's now come straight in there. That's the one I've chatted now. Upload date 19th of May. You've got a lot of information there. Now, there are loads of different fields you can have here in terms of created by, in terms of who created that document. See, it's me. I'm the only one who's using this system, but you have a full list of who actually created that document. And this is specific to each user, how they want their view. There's another view here, it's called Flow, which is a relatively new addition into the document management system, which allows you to see the documents actually as a flow, and so you can scroll through them and actually see them as a physical document rather than having it as the navigation pane. But it's personal preference how you want to use the system. The next key part of the document management system in CCH is the integration with our compliance tools. So if I was in my accounts production area, so if I went to accounts production and opened up my accounts for that particular year and went to my financial statements, what we would see in the top left-hand corner are certain buttons that you're probably used to clicking in a minute if you've got our accounts product, such as print to PDF, which is saved as a PDF, and you've got to then browse and save it somewhere. We've got publish to DM, publish to document management. That would then save it automatically using a consistent naming structure into our document management system. But I would think the key one here is publish to one-click, where it sends it to the client for electronic approval if needed, to either one or multiple directors. But then automatically stores it in our document management system at the same time. So rather than having to do 3 or 4 different clicks to get to that endpoint, having that integration between the compliance tools and our document management system is why our document management system is so key to our existing firms. There have been lots of firms out there who've had a standalone document management system. I'm sure you've had a look at them, and they are very, very good at what they do. Absolutely no disagreement with that. The benefit with ours is the integration. Is in direct purpose-built integration between our compliance tools and our document management system. Okay. So if you've already got accounts production, corporation tax, personal tax, and even practice management, where if you raise a bill, it can automatically store that bill in document management system using a consistent naming structure as well. So it's about having those collaboration tools with your document management system, because it's the one tool, I would say, with a DM system that every single person in the practice would touch, rather than accounts production or personal tax, where it might just have a small number of people in your firm actually accessing daily. Documents is something that every single person in the firm has to have access to. So having a nice, clean, consistent filing structure using the tagging system we've got in here makes it much easier for people to find specific documents. Some other tags that are really relevant to people are the ID number. So you can see there, I've got ID 4985. This is unique to that specific document. You cannot change it or overwrite it. If a document's destroyed out of the system, that ID number is then not used again. And you can have a template function in here using merge fields that can automatically bring in templates with client information on it straight into the document management system and have that ID number automatically populated onto the forefront of that letter. Which means that if your client rings up and says, "Hi, I've got this letter. I'm not sure what I need to do with it, but I know it's come from my partner James," the receptionist can go, no problem, what's the 4-digit or 6-digit ID number on the front of that document, please? They can go, it's 4985. The receptionist doesn't even need to ask for the caller's name. I know they normally would do, but if I type in here ID 4985 and hit search, they would have the exact document in front of them, and you can see it's been created by me, and they can direct the client straight through to the specific person who created that document to go and deal with it. So it's about using the tags to your advantage and being able to find documents and edit them a lot quicker than you currently do at the minute. Okay. So really, with the document management system, it's able to navigate around it quicker, add documents in there, send it out to your client through our secure portal system. You can see here, you just tick the relevant documents on the left-hand side that you wanted to send, click publish a CTH1 click at the top, and it would send it to the client for electronic approval through there. You're also able to send it as an attachment as an email to the client. So if I wanted to do that, rather than if they didn't have a secure portal environment, I could tick the documents I wanted to send, click email. It'll ask me if I want to zip them with a password if I wanted to. I'll just say no there, and it'll say to me which email address that's associated with this client do I want to send it to. Now I want to send it to John Bain in this instance rather than the auditor. If I click OK, it's now going to bring up that email, and it's now going to john.nm.bain@gmail.com with those documents attached, and you can have templates in every email signature as well, obviously as well. So it's just about speeding up the ability to send documents to clients, and for them to reply to you. It will automatically file that email in the document management system at the same time, so everyone's got access to those documents going forward. Okay. I did mention the ability to use templates. I think it's probably something that I can go through now. So in the top left-hand corner next to upload, I've got a page with a green plus to create. If I click that, it'll bring up a box in the middle of the screen where I can have lots of different templates for different functions. You can see I've got a general correspondence letter, I've got an overdue debt letter. We can move all your existing templates in their current area to our background of the database. Now, if I just show you what this one actually looks like, give you an idea of the merge fields. Hopefully you can see on screen there, I've got address 1, address 2, address 3, town, county, postcode. Now this is information that's going to come through from the central database. So rather than having old letters that might have an incorrect address on, if you use the template function, it's going to bring through the correct address every single time that's listed in the CTH database. So if I select that overdue debt letter, I could change the file name, type, description, all that if I wanted to. And you can also integrate it with a workflow system. But once you've generated a letter, it can go through to someone else for approval and then back to someone else to be sent out if need be. If I then just click finish, so very, very quickly, straight away, it's going to open up Word. Add it into the system in the background. We'll probably see that there. I've got overdue debt with it, the little key there, not the little duck or bird. And you can see it's checked out to me at today's date because I'm able to edit this specific document here as a Word document. You see it's brought through the address there, Norfolk address, and it could bring through lots of different bits of information, such as the statement on account if the client had a debtor's balance that they hadn't paid yet. Okay, you can make any changes to it if you wanted to on the fly, but it's totally up to you. I could then close that and save it, and it will go back into the system. Just check this one back in. It's now back into the system. Okay, so that is how you use the template function in CTH. So, Mike, I don't know if any questions have come through from you, or is there anything you want to add at this point in time?
No, just quite interesting to know about that. I'd never looked closely enough. It does look like a duck or a bird, yeah. And I think it's obviously a key now you say it. But that's just having those indicators, at a glance. If you've got a list, or if you wanted to order, right? Okay, which ones have been approved, which ones haven't? It works like a spreadsheet, and I think people like that functionality. To be able to say, right, I only want to see these ones, great, and I want to see the opposite of that, in a list, and then you can start contacting people, or when deadlines get tight, you can send it a different way. And that's what document management, I think, gives you the freedom to do. But no, actually, there's no questions in the question box. If anyone does have any, now would be the time. But no, I think you've covered it so succinctly, Nick, that no one has any questions.
That's fantastic. Now, we do have other webinars and demonstrations coming up, particularly around things like the one-click product and our other compliance tools as well. So please do have a look on our support website to have access to those if you're not getting the marketing documentation. But yeah, speak to your account manager, whether that's Mike or any of our other ones, to get access to those additional webinars that could definitely help you in the current climate with contacting your clients more efficiently.
Yeah, absolutely. So those emails will be coming out to you, and as Nick says, they'll be on the support website as well. If you want to get in contact with me, if I'm your account manager, then you can do. My email is michael.fox@walterskluwer.com. And if you're not sure who your account manager is, then you can email me and I can find out for you as well. Other than that, Nick, yeah, I think that's all we've got time for today, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, I've got another call. I've got the client wanting to go through some accounts production help in the next bit, looking at how they can service the clients better between accounts production and one-click. So, yeah, thank you very much for your time, everyone, today. I know it's important to be contacting your clients at the minute. So, yeah, we really appreciate your time. But yeah, hopefully, if you're using document management, that's giving you some help. But if it's something which you're looking at using, absolutely, please give your account manager a call, and they can support you going forward.
Thanks, Nick. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Al.